One of the greatest things about watching The Dangers in My Heart is watching scenes, whether accidental or not, we can end up with characters like Yamada pulling down Ichikawa's pants. They're not a couple. They both want to be, but they're not a couple. Hell, the whole classroom pretty much knows that they like each other. But we will get moments where Yamada sleeps pretty much naked over at his house. She will pull down his pants. They'll spoon under desks. But they're not a couple, by the way. I have a full live reaction to this week's wonderful episode of The Dangers of My Heart over on my Patreon. If you want to see my full uncut thoughts on this week's episode or any of these amazing episodes, it's over there if you're interested. This was a great episode. The only way that you would actually, ruin what they're building up here is if by the end of the season they weren't officially a couple. They have to be. My gut's saying next episode, but maybe it'll be the final episode. But one way or another, there's no way you keep these two out for good. It's just impossible at this point. I'm going to make it a more even 50-50. I really thought it was like a 70-30 split on Yamada doing it first. But I think it's pretty clear, had they not been cockblocked not once but twice, he would have confessed that he loves her during that whole library scene. Unfortunately for him, personal space didn't exist with this blind bitch, and, she's actually not bad, but goddamn, man, it was a little infuriating in the moment. She just wants to know about love. She doesn't understand it, and she can't see worth a shit based on how she was hitting herself on the way out. So I think it's actually a pretty even split of which one of them actually confesses out loud first. I still think it's gonna be Yamada. Every part of my body thinks that, especially with the death scene about how, hey, are we going out? Which was just such a, oh my god, I thought that was it, because it would have been perfect, right? It's like, hey, we're kind of already a couple, are we going out? Everyone else thinks so. It's like, oh no, I'm just saying what they think, and I'm like, I was so mad at Yamada. I can't actually be mad at her because of their age and everything, but it's just like, oh my god, just kiss, idiots. Get together, idiots. That's all you want to say. But I love the fact that there's so much progression. That scene with the measuring in terms of their height. So they pick a spot on the school that won't be noticeable. It can be washed off because it's not permanent, which I debate on how well it'll actually wash away. But, they measure each other's heights. They put each other's first names. And it's all a cute little fun moment. But man, this new school year is starting off interesting. I really thought we were going with drama, a little spice, some new people in the class, and no, they just want to throw a freaking celebration if they're dating. They have nothing standing in their way besides themselves. There's literally no romantic rivals. There's no fits of jealousy or rage. It is all lined up. The stars have aligned once in a billion years to this much of a perfect confession. And they keep on pulling away. It's like, we're getting there, but man, I said it, what was it, 2 or 3 videos back? I don't know how the show does it, because any other show that would drag out a confession would infuriate me. It does help that they actually do progress, and it actually feels like as they're, pulling away from actually properly admitting their feelings out loud, they're still building an emotional development together. So by the time one of them says it, the other will be able to respond right back, and they'll be able to continue off where they're currently at and just continue to flourish even more and more. Despite the whole, Operation Keep a Distance this school year to help Yamada's career, it ain't gonna happen. They are gonna be a couple one way or another. The pantsing scene was hilarious though. I mean, I thought we were gonna go more of a almost kissing to then them obviously not kissing, because they were very cramped under the teacher's desk, but they went even better. I mean, she got him a wallet chain and he tripped, and just the fact that they're arguably their number one supporter. I really think that. I don't think there's a friend who has been more supportive in this cast, even though most people are supportive of this whole dynamic. Her response of being like, I'm done covering for you. If you guys are gonna pull each other's pants down in the goddamn middle of class and not admit you're a couple, I'm done covering for you. I can't even blame her in that moment, because what else do you say? Whether it's an accident or not, you guys are cramped under the desk together. She knew they were there and she went back in and saw that. Poor girl. Poor girl. But it was so great with that library scene, because there's always a little misunderstanding between the two of them where Yamada is thinking, oh, he wants to get closer to me. Of course, he can come under the curtain with me. I meant more about, not really this, but she's like, oh, okay. But just the way that, the fact that I don't think I can recall a double cock block to this degree. She walks in, so it stops him from confessing that he loves her. Okay, usually it's all said and done. She pulls him back in. She ropes this fool back in and says, what were you going to say? And I'm like, okay, you don't see that and then she's there again. And I'm like, I've never rooted for Chuck-kun more than in that moment. Granted, my anger calmed down after I saw that she was just confused about love, and also she's blind as a freaking bat. Even if that was a complete lie, her stumbling the way she did was fantastic. But I think probably one of the biggest surprises about this episode, and I think the most shocking moment, was actually that letter. So, what I've always said throughout my videos talking about the dangers in my heart is, despite not being able to go inside Yamada's head, we very clearly know her feelings. There's great animation detail with her body reaction, the way she interacts. We know how she feels by kind of being able to observe and not be influenced within the story, right? But for the first time, we really got to see how she feels in the form of that note. I'm pretty sure the end of that note was that I will date him someday, or I do love him, or we will go out. It was something like that, because the start of the note says, we're not dating as of this date. You don't say we're not dating as of this if you don't have plans to date. So it's like, that's a very on-the-nose thing. And the fact that, like, the way she talked about Ichikawa, making sure that people don't misrepresent him, that he's actually a very kind person, just everything about that. We already knew she felt that way, but to actually get inside her head for really the first time was a really powerful moment. I mean, it's not crazy to think that by the end of this season, we'll probably have them in an official couple status. And if so, I don't think there's anything wrong with claiming The Dangers in My Heart is one of the rom-com greats of all time in anime. I'm putting it out there. We've had a shit ton of development, despite not having them actually in a relationship, and the way they use the supporting cast is so freaking solid. Like, when drama has been there, they've used it intelligently. They don't let misunderstandings become 3 to 6 episodes worth of bullshit. It generally gets resolved either in the next couple of minutes or by the end of an episode. And the fact that we have a supporting cast that is just, they're solid, they're linked, they support the insanity. I mean, I disagree with the whole teacher's bullshit of make 100 friends. Like, Comey Can't Communicate can try to argue you can make 100 friends all you want, but you can't have 100 deep connections. It's like literally impossible. But, you know, I'm excited for this new school year. I think we are very close. It could happen next episode. If not, it has to happen in the last episode. I just don't see how they stretch it. And if so, oh, time will tell. But this was great. Never thought I'd love seeing a character get his pants pulled down as much as this, but damn, they somehow make it whole. So let me know your feelings so down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell. Like I mentioned, we had that full live reaction over on my Patreon. And hey, while you're there, also give you a video shout out. So today we got Jacob Winslow, Dominic Hamby, Xrox, Conrad Sosin, Jesper, and Antonio Rose. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.